was no plot at the beginning. There was no beginning or an end. It just kind of came little by little, and I just continued to write. So that is what happened. Yes, I am a physics teacher, and I so enjoy teaching, and I really enjoyed writing a book also, because I've been writing poetry as a child. I've been writing poetry all my life. I've been writing poetry for my friends, for my boyfriend, but you know, I never thought of publishing anything or submitting it for an award or anything like that. Even the book, I just wrote it because it just came naturally, and I enjoyed writing it. I was so engrossed in it, you know. So after I wrote it, and I made several copies and gave it to some of my friends, like I always do with my poetry, and they thought I should do something about it. And especially one person, Mr. Siri Almeida of Vijitayapa, he's a friend of my parents, so I gave the book to him, and he read it and said, Pute, this is nice, you should do something with this. And I said, I don't know what to do. He said, then he got me the paper cutting for the gradation applications, and told me, you must submit this. So that's what happened. He's the one who, you know, wanted me to do that, and I owe it all to him, I guess.
Yeah. And I really like how you say about, in relation to your father's passing away, it was helping with the grieving process, but at the same time your creative ability all kind of culminated to what you created.
Yes, you're right. I was reconnecting with my father, dealing with my grief through something I've always enjoyed doing, and it's helped me.
Now, both of you have spent a lot of time writing a book and putting all your thoughts. It's an emotional process, it's a physical and mentally straining process as well. But how do you think the encouragement you've been receiving, obviously you must be having encouragement from those close to you, but in the process of a Sri Lankan writer, trying to write in English, getting yourself published and having a lot, do you think there is enough affirmation and support, or is the Gradation Awards the one and only thing that's affirming you all to keep going? I will start with Miriam on that.
I think there are support bodies in Sri Lanka, even though it doesn't seem that apparent. For example, there are a few bodies like the English Writers Cooperative, and you have different things that you could sort of, if you are a writer, you could target the EWC channels annually. Then you have the Godage publications, they have an award every year, that as well. Then the State Literary Award, they have sort of, they recognize books and in different categories, different to Gradation. The Gradation awards all writers with different genre one award, but the State Literary Award has different categories, so that is something that you could work on. And basically the publishing houses, there are quite a few, like you mentioned Vijitayapa and PH, and there are places that you could go to. In terms of encouragement, how does the encouragement work out? What do you think?
I don't really know. You say it is difficult to get a book up and running. You know, it's difficult to get a book published. It's you self-published your book.
I self-published.
So it's like that. So it is difficult to get it going. But my point is, don't think of that end point of your journey. Try and enjoy it as you go along. You know, if you enjoy writing, if you like the journey, do it. And once you're done with that, then look at what you can do. And there's plenty of stuff you can do, like she said, plenty of things. So you could do that. If nothing at all, then you would have done it for yourself. You would have enjoyed it. And maybe, you know, make 10 copies, give your friends. You're an author, right?
And that's a start, and that's being proactive and getting the job done. But at the same time, you give some good tips as to some of the current organizations of how people can hone their skills. But as young writers and growing up, when you were learning to write, what were certain things that really helped you to persevere, to get better, to hone your skills, to sharpen? And also you can at this time maybe mention certain individuals who played a crucial role in helping you come this far, and obviously the journey ahead as well.
Okay. I think what helped me with developing my skills were probably school. That's very important. Parents, my mom is an English teacher. And also the British Council does help a lot. They have book bazaars, and they have, when I was young, there was this thing called the Pioneering Writing Club that was initially pioneered by Lal Madhavat Kedara. But then now I really don't know if they have it right now. That was a very good start. I got quite some training in that particular club. I was the team leader, and we published a book by the end of it. So you get that exposure as a very young writer. Growing up, I guess my inspiration came from what I saw, what I felt, and what I felt that I should talk about. And obviously your family in Sri Lanka obviously helps you a lot. Your parents, your partner, your sister who eats you up for a story, and it goes on like that. So there are particular people who help you write, and then there are people from outside who help you write, like the British Council, Immigration and stuff like that. And all that put together creates what you are as a person. But it's very important to understand that you as a person also is probably one of the most principal factors in that story. Mm-hmm. That you are the main person in it, basically.
Definitely. Speaking about some of the other events that's been celebrating literature in Sri Lanka and encouraging authors to continue to write has been the Galle Literary Festival and their contribution. When we talk about the Galle Literary Festival, how do you think it has encouraged writers to be more involved, and also how have you been involved in it, if at all? How do you hope to be involved in the Galle Literary Festival coming up?
Do you want to take that?
I've never been involved in that, but like you said, it is encouraging, Well, it offers encouragement because obviously when your work is recognized, that gives you a more boost. So that boost keeps you going for some time. So that is what every award does, I suppose, from the point of view of an award. But I'm a bad person to talk about awards because I never targeted anything. So I just wrote for the passion of it. So
Prashant, something else I would like to add about the GLF is that personally I haven't actually had the time to go there every year. It's always something or the other. But I think it's a great platform where the readers meet the writers and the writers meet the readers. And you could, and you meet international writers as well. So as a writer, you meet international writers and you meet the readers that you write to, and vice versa. So it's actually more of even helping the literary society. It's helping evolve you as a person and evolve the society as a particular sort of aspect.
Yeah, very true. One thing I've noticed about many authors is that they also read quite a bit. Some actually prefer to read just to get a wide variety of what's out there. Some actually have said they've tried to stay away from reading things that are similar to what they write because they're afraid that they might emulate it too much and lose their focus. Where do you stand on this argument? And at the same time, who have been certain authors that have influenced you and inspired you, local and also international? We'll start with Charulata.
Okay, you're right about staying away from literature that's similar to what you're writing. It happens to me. So I tend to do that. I tend to stay away from reading similar books when I'm writing. I've only written poetry, so this book was completely different. So I can't put that in that category. And yes, you read quite a bit. I read almost anything that I lay my hands on. And I've been reading since I was 3, I guess. So yeah, you tend to read a lot, and it tends to, like Mariam said, it tends to evolve you at a certain level. It tends to develop you. It tends to show you different ways of writing and different tools for writing. So all that, instead of learning about these tools for writing, if you see it in action in a story, it makes a better impression on you. So reading, that's where reading is for me. And yeah, well, I read both Sinhala and English, and I don't really pay attention to the author when I pick a book. It's just for the book that I pick the book. And yeah, so all Sri Lankan authors, I've read from Martin Wickramasinghe to Upul Shanta Sannaskala in Sinhala, and in English I've read, I like things like Agatha Christie's and Robin Cook, thrillers. So that's where my preferences lay. So all those authors, I guess, have influenced me to write, because you enjoy reading, and then you kind of think, okay, maybe I could reproduce something like this, and you get going. So
Mariam, same question to you?
I think I'd agree with her. I mean, when I pick a book, I don't particularly pick the writer. I just pick it off the shelf, because sometimes I think that the not-so-famous writers also have something very good to say. When I was a child, I used to read Jacqueline Wilson, Michael Morpurgo. I think he's an excellent writer, Michael Morpurgo, and also Terry Pratchett. And as I grew up, I used to I'm not that old yet, so basically I spent most of my adult education studying, so I really didn't have time to read a lot of leisure books. But I could say Sri Lankan writers, like Charu said, Ashok, Punyakanti is a very good writer. I mean, it's very similar to the style I write. And there are quite a few other writers as well.
You can't forget Enid Blyton.
Enid Blyton, God, that
Can't forget her.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so what you guys did is, intentionally did this, for those out there wanting to get more into reading and things, you just mentioned a few names that could continue to inspire and fuel that desire. I want to wish the two of you all the very best. It's amazing and inspiring that you've done this, and it's just the beginning of better things to come. I want to wish you the best, not just for the creation, but years ahead, that the two of you could continue to contribute to Sri Lankan literature. And whether it is trying to help people empathize with the bigger issues, or help people to get away or deal with the mourning process, or also to reflect on the good times of the life and also learning experiences, I wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Good Morning Sri Lanka. We'll be right back with much, much more.